So, yes, go ahead. They can do that. I try to eliminate that from happening no matter what, because I don't want it to be a team approach. I do, however, want to turn the home health aides into care extenders. Oh yeah, you've got AM care, but I want you to carry out the nurse's home program and the PT's home program and the OT's home program. So when the home health aide shows up, we're working. And, we're doing your AM care afterwards. So those are the ways that you disconnect the patients from the over-reliance on the home health aide. And I say that to every start of care patient who gets a home health aide. I make sure I make this disclaimer. If at any point, for any reason, you cancel the nurse, the PT, or the OT visit because the home health aide is coming that day, I'm discharging the home health aide. The home health aide is icing on the cake. They're not what this is about. So, and there's somebody in this room thinking this, so I'll close for this morning with this thought process. A couple years ago in Miami, I was working with an agency and they were doing outlier patients. It was so fraudulent. And as I kind of discovered it, and the first day I kind of chastised them, and they really, to their credit, got it. Oh, we got to discharge all these home health aides. Here's what they do. They write TID times 60 days home health aide orders. I'm going through this chart in their conference room with their staff, and I see a start of care nurse. The start of care nurse does the Oasis visit at 10:30. Okay? They have a home health aide in the home by 1:15. And I kind of snapped at them. I'm like, who does this? Imagine that, don't worry, I'll have an aide here in 2 hours. She'll be okay. And the aide would come 3 times a day to do an insulin injection, and that turns the patient into an outlier. Oh yeah, we paid something like $17,000 for that serve period. So they started to their credit, sat up straight and started to discharge all the home health aides. They're cutting back to 2 or 3 times a week. Now, you can imagine what the group of Miami patients said when they did that. Huh. And a couple of them said, I want to appeal the home health aide. So for 2 days, I tried to call Palmetto, and I finally got through, and I'm talking to this gal, and she's very businesslike, and I'm explaining it to her, and I'm explaining it to her just like I explained it to you. And as soon as I got down to the line that says, so they want to know how they appeal the home health aide, the lady cut me off and said, as if she were reading from a 3x5 card, she says, the appeal for Medicare home health services only extends to licensed care delivery. Can't even appeal a home health aide decrease. Now, they're going to call the 800 number, the counter people at Medicare, and the counter people are going to say, oh, yeah, you qualify for all the home health aides you need. What would Medicare tell you to do if you thought they wanted a home health aide that they didn't need? What would Medicare tell you to do? Offer them what? HHABN. I don't think you need it, but I can offer this to you, and if Medicare denies it, and I have seen, I think there might be one in your paragraphs there, a home health aide denial in those paragraphs. So it's important to understand you can get denied for your home health aide, you're not even getting paid for it. Oh. Pardon? They'll deny the rest of your program. So you got a denial. You're one step closer to that focus review. Here's the component is it's not worth it. They deny your home health aide because they think you're giving them the home health aide to endear them to your agency, so the next time they need services, they'll come back to you. Or to make them dependent so that you carry them into the research position.
Is the home health aide at the hospital also a
Well, everything at the hospital is under comprehensive billing, and that's what they would tell you is for home care. They say, oh, you get paid for the home health aide. It's just in your one-time HERC payment.
But nobody gets baths in the hospital. I mean, when the patients come home, they say nobody ever came to bathe them.
Well, that's because it's supposed to be the LVNs or the other people. We had a couple of questions about the reassessments, the 13th, the 19th, and the 30th visits. So let's spend a couple of minutes talking about that. Number one, this is similar to what they've had in skilled nursing facilities for a number of years. So here's the rules. It is a combined count. all therapies count. PT, OT, speech. The eval visits count. The count starts with the first one. Everybody that is in on the program that's part of the count needs to reassess no later than the 13th visit. If you do not reassess by the 13th visit, that discipline is done getting paid for. So, let's take a couple of patients. The first patient comes out and they have PT. And the PT writes an order that says 3 times 4, 2 times 4 for 20 visits. The PT does the assessment. They do all of the tests that they think could contribute to their care plan. They choose what tests are positive and they make that part of their care plan. Then they proceed on. When they get to visit 13, they need to do a reassessment. That way you've gotten the therapy visit done no later than the 13th visit. Now you may think, well, what if they want to do the reassessment on visit 12? And I would tell you, why would you want to do that? Or what if they want to do the reassessment on visit 11? And I would say, well, why do you want to do that? It's hard enough to play it straight. So they're going to say to you, well, it's more convenient for me on Tuesday because I have to pick my kids up until 6, and then I got an extra 2 hours, and then, well, what does that got to do with it? Again, the reassessment, to me, is 12 minutes difference in the visit. So the next question that I tend to get from clinicians are, well, what if I want to do it on the 11th visit because I can't do the 12th and the 13th visit, but the assistant can do it, so she's going to continue on the 12th and the 13th visit, and that's easier for me to do it on visit 11. And I would say to them, who says we're continuing until you do the reassessment? Why are we planning on the assistant going on 12 and 13 until we find out what happened on whenever time we do the reassessment? So when you're presuming we're continuing on, it's just the reassessment is just some sort of revolving door we got to blow through, you're thinking wrong. Everybody got that so far? Okay, so now we've got the patient and it comes out and it's PT and OT. PT comes in, does the eval, OT comes in, does the eval. Before they get to 13, 2 of the following 3 visits, 11, 12, or 13, need to be the reassessments from PT and OT. Okay? 2 of the following visits, 11, 12, or 13. The range for the reevals is 11 through 13 and 16 through 19. So you may think, well, wait a minute, why is it, can we get to use 11, 12, or 13? Why doesn't it have to be 12 and 13? Because no, this isn't really a checkpoint to make you stand up straighter. It's real. We don't have enough time to deny you because your OT did the reassessment on 11 instead of 12. That's not what this is about. Stop and think about this. It's so much more than can you count to 13. And that's what we think about when we think, well, why wouldn't it have to be 12 and 13? Because it's not a rudimentary count. It's about reestablishing clinical need. If you have 3 patients, or 3 therapies, PT, OT, and speech, 11, 12, and 13 are each going to be a reassessment. So let me tell you what can't happen. What can't happen is one of your therapists take a missed visit and not tell you who's ever counting. You've been here all day so you can understand this. The therapist can't count it. They can't count it. Don't trust them to count it. They're not going to count it. Period. That means all these calls, so-and-so took a missed visit, we got to figure it out. I think that the way we manage it is we have the schedules in the office for the week before. And I think this is a significant component. What you're battling in home care is that it's always been all good. So we think it's okay to switch this patient or move this other component, and we don't want to lock in the schedule on Friday because when we can't switch it around the next week to make it work for ourselves.